Good morning. So excited about today. I'm going to try and stick to like 20 or so minutes, just walking through some concepts real quick. And then we'll use the hope is to use the last hour to go through some like actually workshoppy stuff. It's going to be work. Like if you're here to hide, you can run along, little doggy. And I mean that with love. Like roll our sleeves up a bit. So the first thing I wanted to talk about was just I'm sort of starting to think of it as the practice. So to me, this is the practice, this never ending, and particularly this version of it. So, this idea that real financial planning is the alignment of your use of capital. And in my mind, capital always has an asterisk. And the asterisk for capital says time. And I've done this order intentionally: time, money, energy, and attention. Right. So I feel like there's four sources of capital. And look, I had more lists. I had different ones like, talent and skill and I just narrowed it down. I just made an arbitrary decision. There's nothing commandment-y about it. It's just mine, right? So time, money, energy, and attention. I love thinking about each of those. I know no one comes to you saying, "Hey, can you help me with my attention?" But there's implied permission in the work you do to help people with aligning their use of capital, speaking broadly, and time, certainly. Like nobody comes and helps you ask for help managing their time, but time certainly, because it's not always, but there's a real connection between time and money. Like I can spend time with someone, and if my attention's not there, the return on that investment for me and for the person are way different than if I spend time with someone and my attention is there. And then energy, of course, right? Like how I spend my energy to me is really, really interesting. So, use of capital. And then on the other side, we have this what's important to you. And I always thought that like what's important to you thing was like the easy part. Like, oh, I'll just ask them and they'll tell me. You know what I mean? Like, what are your goals? Oh, cool. You want to retire with 5 million on a sailboat. Great. Right. So yeah, there's going to be this initial guess. And in our minds, and we do this with deep empathy, but we're sort of thinking like, okay, that's cute that you think the $5 million with the sailboat is the thing. I'm going to go with you for a little bit and we're going to discover that it's probably not the thing. But we don't say any of those words. We just say deep empathy, great, $5 million sailboat, amazing. So, but helping somebody, like what more valuable thing could you do in somebody's life than over time helping them get clear about what's important? And where the rubber sort of meets the road with the work you do is often what's important to you. The revealed preference shows up in how you spend your time and your money. It's one thing for me to tell you that. It's a completely separate thing for me to show you how I've spent my time and my money. And there's almost always, for me at least, there's this gap that exists most of the time between what I said was really important and what I'm actually doing. To me, this is the practice. And to me, it starts with us. I think of this now as like a symbiotic relationship. Like I can help the client get a little better about their use of capital and alignment. I'm actually kind of convinced that alignment issues are at the core of most of our problems in the world. Just alignment with how we use resources and capital is at the core. If we could fix that, I think we'd fix most of our problems. We're just misaligned. Want to become a better financial planner? Want to help people get more aligned? Get more aligned yourself. That doesn't mean like wait until I've reached nirvana. It means there's a symbiotic incremental improvement along the way. Like I've I've learned a little bit about alignment. Okay, I can help somebody else learn a little bit. I've learned a little bit more. I can learn a little bit more. There's no waiting here. There's no place to hide. There's no like, oh, I can't do that yet because I'm not good enough, or compliance, or I need to worry about the color on the logo. Like, there's no places to hide here. This is the practice. So let's do this. Let's move on to the one thing. Here's what I'd love to do. This is the question. What's one thing that you already know? You already know that if you did it, it would make a massive difference in your life and or your business. And it can be either or. either life or business or both, but just like one single thing. This could be big, like it's going to take me all year. This could be simple, could be, and the other way to think about this is what's one thing that if you did it would make everything else easier or maybe even irrelevant. Doesn't have to be big. You already know. What's the one thing? Okay, let's do this. Already see some really cool ones filled out. Who'd like to just take a minute, like hot seat style? I saw a couple that I was like, who was it that said say no? Shane. Why is saying no so hard for you? You're in good company, by the way, but why is it so hard?
I think it's the hero complex. My natural inclination is to say yes immediately because I want to be the person to step in and solve the problem or help wherever needed to be helped. And that causes me to be overcommitted to coaching every possible team for every one of my kids, joining every possible board that opportunity comes my way, taking on every client that comes to me and says they need help. I need to say no and focus more on the things that are truly important.
Shauna, what did you have?
No is okay. We don't have to give reasons for our no. Like you don't owe anyone that. So the next time they say, "Hey, could you help out coaching your kid's soccer team?" It's like, "Thank you so much for that, that opportunity. Let me consider it and I'll get back to you tomorrow." And then that gets you out of that immediate that I want to say yes, I want to be helpful, and you have time to really evaluate it. And if I may share, discuss it with your family, because anytime you say yes to those things, it impacts other people, or yes to your staff. Give them that chance to provide feedback on, is this where we want to go? Is this direction? Maybe that's okay because it is spending more time with your kids. Maybe that's great. Or maybe it's like, well, if you're coaching Jimmy, then you're not coaching Sarah. And is that okay?
Yeah.
That's great feedback.
Yeah. Amazing. Meredith Sims, tell me about this. Take whatever action I need to take to allow myself to spend less time on doing miscellaneous things. What's that about?
I think it boils down to a little bit about what Shane was saying is just, I find it hard to say no to things. I'm an introvert, but also a social person. I really want to help people. And, I committed to writing my book, and I started that this year, and I'm actually in a writing group, and I just find I just don't seem to find the time or the structure in my day to do those activities. And I find that when I write, I feel really good about what I do, and I think I can have an impact, but then I don't find the time. And so, first of all, I said, I'll move to the beach so I have less distractions, go somewhere else, but then I would still be there. So
Yeah.
that's challenging.
Yeah. I know a lot of you have like that kind of goal of like writing something or producing a podcast or something that takes a little bit of like, it takes creative, like focused work. I know a lot, I've seen a lot of those. And it's so interesting how easy it is to get. And I've been studying this problem for a very long time because if I can study this problem, I don't actually have to write my book. Like if I can study this problem of not writing your book, I don't have to write my book. And what I found in all the study is like these crazy things people used to do. Like I did this and I have friends that used to do this. I have a friend who used to book an LA to Japan flight once a month, get to before there was Wi-Fi on the plane. LA to Japan, spend the night, fly back. 18 hours of writing. Like I've tried like moving to the writer's cabin. Like I've tried all those things. All of those things are defensive. And what's interesting about defensive things is if you're an alcoholic and you have alcohol in the house and it's behind a locked cabinet, you're going to figure out how to get into the locked cabinet. You know what I mean? Our ability to find a way around the trick always advances faster than our ability to design great tricks. So I have found the valuable thing to me is like, man, can I just get connected to the deeper yes? And then can I create a habit out of it? Especially around creative work. It doesn't matter if you feel like it or not. Like that's the other piece that's really important to me is you can be creative on purpose. You just sit down at 9:30 on Tuesdays and you be creative. And what's interesting is it's not feel then do on most of this kind of work. It's do then feel. Every time I sit down to record, because I record, I just recorded episode 952 of Behavior Up Radio. It's released every day. every workday. And every time I sit down, I don't feel like doing it. And after one, I'm normally like, wow, this is so great. This is so fun. You know what I mean? Like, so you feel it afterwards. It's the same with running. It's the same, like, you don't ever really, I mean, some of you do, but you don't feel like, I don't often feel like going for a run in the mountains, but I know the moment I do, I'm going to love it. So hopefully that's a little helpful. I have found on the creative side, like if any of these things, I think most of the things I'm seeing are some sort of like, it's cognitively demanding, like even to clean out red tail. Somebody put that one down, like get that all cleaned up. That's cognitively like, I got to there are a million things you'd rather be doing. And there's a million things your brain would rather be doing. And so building in guardrails to give you space, important. Building in time in your schedule, important. And then understanding that you're going to feel that way anyway. And you just got to do it. What did Chuck Close, inspiration is for amateurs. The rest of us show up and get to work. You know, so with that, what do we say now? Happy holidays, Merry Christmas. It's been an amazing year, super jazzed about next year. So thanks everybody. We'll talk to you in January. Bye. Greetings, Carl Richards here. What you just watched was a clip from a 90-minute workshop that I hosted at the Society of Advice. In fact, I host a workshop every month for advisors where we work through real problems. Things like, how do I deal with the uncertainty that I feel about running my business? How do I lower the anxiety I feel when offering really important advice to clients? How do I work through big decisions for myself or clients in the face of irreducible uncertainty? And of course, one of my favorite topics, how do I make a massive impact in the world through doing public work? Things like a book or a podcast. Those are the kind of topics we cover. Now, of course, we talk about tactics because tactics are important. Of course, there's shortcuts and hacks and tips and tricks, but that's not why people come. You know why people come to the Society of Advice? Why people join? Is because it's business mindset coaching for clients. I'm going to teach you how to think about those things in a way that's different so that you can actually do them. No more hiding, my friends. No more hiding behind compliance or research places I hide to. No more, right? We're going to actually do the work out there in the world because the people, I'm pointing out the window, they need you. And in our industry, no one is teaching advisors mindset coaching, how to think and feel about things so we can get the work done, right? Nobody's teaching us mindset coaching around how to be a phenomenal human being and a planner so we can make a massive impact on the world. I am positive that you would enjoy it. In fact, I'm so sure that we've made it easy on you. When you join, your first month is free and you can cancel anytime. There's literally no risk. Join, your first month's free. Come to the first workshop with your camera on, all your distractions off, ready, right? Ready so that we can have the impact that we all know we want to have. So come and see for yourself. In fact, all the members of the Society of Advice say the same thing. They're like, pretty hard to describe, better experienced. So come and see for yourself. Just go to thesocietyofadvice.com. That's thesocietyofadvice.com/membership. And you can join there, and I'll see you at your first workshop. Cheers, my friend.